5, 6, 7, 8.
Spotlight.
On stage at MMT.
Spotlight.
I meet the cast, crew, and company.
Spotlight.
Sit back, on stage
relax, and
tonight.
give us a spotlight on stage at MMT.
Welcome back to Spotlight on Stage. This evening we have Mr. Eric and Miss Lucy. I would like for them to introduce themselves to the folks at home.
So I'm Lucy Fisher.
That was good.
Do I say anything else?
That's good.
I'm Erik Snyder.
Great.
There, that was easy. It was very simple.
We'll start the ball rolling with how long have we known each of you, or how long have we been performing with each other versus, how long have you been performing with our company from the park and here? Lucy.
So I guess I'll go first. I think I've known you guys my entire adult life and part of my teenage life,
most of your,
and probably most of my childhood.
Yeah.
So I would say I think I've known you guys since I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Which was like 20-ish years ago.
Oh, it was yesterday. Come on.
So I'm going to say 20 years.
Okay.
And then I've been with you guys from the beginning.
Yep.
When we had the old studio in Lambertville.
Yep.
And then when we moved to the other one in Mount Airy.
Yep.
And then all through open air. And then here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
forever.
long
For a
time.
long time.
Long
A very
time.
long time. Performing, teaching, directing, everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
My daughter knew you first.
Yeah.
It's true.
She did. She was 8 years old, and she knew you first. We were looking for a place for her to go and get some experience with singing, acting, dancing, whatever you guys were offering at the time down in Lambertville.
Mhm.
in
Yep.
A tiny little, I guess, was it like a karate studio or
It
something?
was.
Or
That was technically our second
Oh,
studio.
actually,
we had,
yeah.
we had
Yeah.
one that was smaller than that before.
yeah.
I was in the really, really small
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Lucy was in the first one.
Lucy's been to all of them.
And I think it was it was Annie rehearsal, and you guys were looking for adult males.
That's how
Yep.
it
to be in
happens,
the
Eric.
show. And I was there, and you handed me something and said, "You don't have to do anything but just read this off this piece of paper." And that was 11 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That was the first year, right? That was 2010
yeah,
at the
20
park.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
because she was in Bye Bye Birdie too.
Yep.
And oh my God, that was so funny. That show was hilarious. That show was so funny. So, anyways,
Yeah.
so 11-ish years.
So it's all Maddie's fault.
It's
Yeah.
Maddie's fault. I know. I blame her all the time.
And that was
Indeed.
it. She did that first season.
She did, yeah. She did. She did. Both the kids did like Christmas Carol
Yep.
Yeah.
once or twice,
Mhm.
but nothing really
Yeah.
much. It wasn't their thing.
That's okay.
Kids.
Yeah.
They-
But you and Jody have gotten to do a few things here or there
Yes.
together.
I
She
know.
hasn't performed in a while, but
right? She got to play a nun, which was
Yes.
super weird being a Jew.
listen.
It's the only time in her life she'll be Catholic.
Yeah.
That's terrifying to me.
Yeah, Lucy has
Yeah,
a fear of
Jewish nun.
nuns.
Nonophobia.
None in general.
Oh yeah. Did you go to Catholic school?
No.
Oh, okay. Me either.
No, for whatever reason, and we've known this about you forever, Lucy, that
Yeah.
you just don't.
You have an innate fear of nuns.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I don't blame
nonsense
you.
is not a good one.
No, Lucy's never seen it.
Never come.
Which is,
They're funny nuns,
I know, right?
but
and they're guys.
they'll
so-
still be scary to Lucy. Yeah.
So why don't you tell the people at home who are watching any kind of performance experience? Now, I mean, obviously, Lucy, we've known you for a very long time, but any kind of performance experiences that you've had outside of open air theater / MMT / DPAC, whether it be in school or other community places or regional places or what have you.
So I'll go first. So I've been performing since I was probably like 10 or 11 when I first got introduced to it at the Playhouse. So I did perform there all through high school and then a little bit in college. And then I also kind of branched out a little bit, and I have done a lot of community theater all over the place. I did it a little bit up in North Jersey while I was away at school at Fairleigh Dickinson. And then I also majored, well, I should say triple majored. One of my triple majors was theater with a concentration in acting, so I did participate in the performances there. I've dabbled a little bit in opera as well, so I have worked for the Opera at Florham and then also Eastern Opera of New Jersey. Trying to think of other places. The Kelsey Theater, I've done a couple of productions. Town and Country, I did a couple. And I guess that's about it, other than here.
Yeah, no, I mean that's great. It's a lot of
Yeah,
it's a lot of
I did do
experience.
actually one other thing I did do. In high school, I did a summer camp where we actually performed at an off-Broadway theater. So I do have one off-Broadway credit.
That's awesome. Yeah, fun. And Eric, about you?
My experience started when I was a child. My older cousins used to dress me up, and we would do shows. We would do shows for my family. We'd jump up from behind the couch and do all these crazy
Hey.
shows. And then, of course, my parents got me into like tap and all this
Yeah.
other stuff as a little kid. And I didn't do much. I did some theater in high school. I was always in music, and I mean, I was a small school, so I was into everything, sports and.
Sure.
But went to college and then pretty much nothing until Maddie brought me to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've done some other stuff too. More recently, I've done some commercial work, but nothing major, no major acting or anything. So
Yeah, but still different
Different avenues of
Yeah.
performing arts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. I was going through the different shows though that I've done with you guys
Yeah.
here, and I've done at least 33 different shows with you.
I don't doubt
Not
it.
including the 9 times I've been in Christmas Carol.
Right?
So,
Yeah. Those were good shows.
I don't doubt it.
Right?
Yeah, it's
It
quite a
seems
resume.
like in a
It's
normal year we
insane.
spit a new one out every couple of
Right?
weeks.
It's
So.
crazy.
Why don't you tell everyone at home what you do when you are not performing? What you do at home, or you for a day job, or extracurricular hobbies?
I do a lot of things. So I teach full-time actually at Delaware Township School as a special education teacher for the middle school. I'm also the advisor for the Delaware Dramatics Club, which I'm very proud of for starting. And I'm also the advisor for the New Jersey Junior Thespian Society at Delaware Township School, which I also started.
Nice.
I'm also on the state board for the New Jersey Junior Thespian Society, whatever it's called. And I'm in charge of kind of getting the Thespian Festival in May together for the junior thespians. I also teach dance and many theater classes outside of school and outside of the theater and here at the theater. And when I do have spare time, I really like going to the beach.
Yeah, she's
Lucy's our resident mermaid.
Yeah.
Yes.
I work for a pet nutrition company, Hill's Pet Nutrition, Science Diet, Prescription Diet. People know those usually. I work with the veterinarians. I try to educate the staff and veterinarians on how to use diets for dogs and cats that are sick. So that's my full-time gig, and it's really rewarding. I've been with the company for about 21 years, and it's a great company to work for. And probably all of you have heard me at some point say, "Your dog should be on, and your cat should be on." It's
Yeah, we go to Eric when we have any pet
nutrition
questions.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, I think it's important. We really want the audiences to know you guys a little bit more, other than what they see of you on stage, because obviously they're going to come if they're subscribers or they just like to come to the theater. They come and they see us up here, and occasionally when it's not COVID, we'll talk to them out in the lobby. You get to know people, but I think the whole purpose of this was so that they could get to know you guys on a more personal level, a little bit more, like we know you. So I think it's important that they know those types of things about all of us. So the next question that we have for you is, I won't ask you to narrow it down to one, but what are some of your favorite performance experiences that you've had here at MMT?
Hairspray. When I played Tracy Turnblad for the third time.
Yes.
That's the
and
third time, right?
And I won best. Yeah, third
Yes,
time.
you did.
And
Best
I won
actress.
best leading actress.
We have
for
2 award winners
Tracy.
on the panel.
Yep.
Yes, and I'm nominated again for Rapunzel.
That's right.
Yeah, that's I saw that. So is that
That's it.
Oh, well, should I talk about more?
keep going? Yeah, I mean, go for it.
What
Your
I mean,
favorite.
obviously, we were going to bring up Tracy anyway because it's such a great role for you. Your energy is just so
Amazing.
effervescent, and it's just perfect. It's just really upbeat and happy. And what kind of drew you to just thinking I would love to play this part?
So a couple of things. I feel like for women who kind of look like me, who are a little bit on the bigger side, but who still are, for not to be like not humble, but who are still very talented.
Yes.
Positively.
It's hard to find roles like that
Mhm.
that really show off all of the talents that I feel like I have, because I really do feel like I am a triple threat in that I can dance and act and sing.
Sure.
So like it's hard to find roles where you really feel like you can really show what you can do.
Right.
So that was the first thing that really drew it to me, because I feel like, you never have a break, as Tracy Turnblad on stage.
No. It's
No.
work,
It's
man.
very heavy as far as dancing and singing and acting. So it takes a lot of energy, which I joke about all the time with people, because everybody complains to me all the time. Oh, the show is so long. I have so much to do. I'm like, try playing Tracy Turnblad. Then talk to me.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. And then the second thing is just, I really liked the story that, even beyond, the racism and everything else that's in it, it's just amazing that this girl came from almost pretty much nothing, and she accomplished all of the dreams that she set forth for herself. So that has always kind of resonated with me too. So I think I really connect with her on that level for that reason. And I just feel like it's a character that I can personally connect to for several reasons.
Yeah, and I think that's important too when you're performing on stage, that you can find something in every role or every ensemble part that you've ever played that you can connect to personally, because it makes it that much more true to being able to persuade the audience that you are not yourself and you're playing someone else.
Yeah. And it also, like I come from more of like a legit soprano background as far as vocals go. So it's like amazing to like I am so proud of myself when I sang some of the Hairspray things, because it's so much harder for me to do like the beltier, more mezzo things, which I know I can do, but it's just more stressful for me, I guess I should say, like where the legit soprano is more like my wheelhouse.
Sure.
So I just feel so impressed like with myself when I'm done with it.
Well, that's important too, because you always want to keep growing and challenging yourself. And you say you've played the role a couple of times now, and I have similar experiences. I'm sure Jordan does too. But each time you go back, maybe you bring a little something different. Maybe you're at a different part of your life, certainly. So maybe you see something a little different. I think that can be rewarding as well. How about yourself, Eric?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I mean, literally, my favorite thing about working with you guys is the characters. Like all the kooky, weird, quirky people.
There are plenty.
Like Franz is probably one of my favorites. Lancelot is also a favorite of mine, and Spamalot. I mean, just all of it. There's so much. They're just all so much fun. But probably, I mean, South Pacific was amazing. I loved being Emil. But so many different. I think that's the thing that I really enjoy, is that using some stuff from real life and bringing it into the character and actually feeling what they're feeling and helping these folks out here feel the same thing.
And it's an interesting point, because as a performer, you always want to try and connect, like Lucy and Jordan were speaking about, to the character that you're playing, and maybe it's not personal information that you'll share with people, but you can share it through that character. Because some of the best actors are very, very shy and inward people, but they, for whatever reason, can kind of share more as the character than maybe they do in their personal life, or maybe they just don't want people to know.
Definitely.
Who knows?
Definitely.
But no, it's a very interesting point.
Yeah.
All right. How about a show? So you both come to see many performances here now that we have this building open, and you did both at the park as well. How about a show that you were not necessarily part of on stage, but you still enjoyed seeing, whether it was the first time you had seen that musical or play, or something that just stands out that you thought was funny or whatever?
Do you want me to go
for it.
first?
Lucy.
You're the lady. You go first.
I would probably say Phantom. It's always been one of my favorites, the Mari Yeston version, and I obviously love the Andrew Lloyd Webber one as well. And growing up, like when I first learned what a musical was, Phantom of the Opera was like my all-time favorite show, and I would listen to it like on repeat all the time, and like especially because I was coming from like a legit background. It was like like the role I've always wanted to play, and these are the songs I've always wanted to sing. And then when I learned what the like Mari Yeston version was. Then I learned that one, and Home actually was my college audition song. So it's kind of
Beautiful song.
got like a really sweet spot for me every time I hear it, and every time I say it, and every time I sing it.
Sure.
So when I came to see that, I think that was like the one that I had the most emotional connection to.
Sure.
I guess recently, excuse me, recently, I never saw Will Rogers, and it was amazing. I mean, it was just so good. It was just so good.
It's
and
a
it
very
really did.
unique
And
show.
I never thought that I would like something of that style. It's a little different, you know.
Yeah.
It's a little, I guess, older style of.
Yeah, it's
of
definitely
musical.
modeled after like the Ziegfeld days, which
Yeah.
is
Right.
way back, and he lived a long time ago, so
Yeah.
it's strange to see.
But there's not many shows that are written in that style either, where
No.
it's kind of a show within a show, but just
Yeah,
very
yeah.
presentational, and he
Yeah.
addresses the audience. And
But I think that was kind of cool, especially the way that you guys did it, and I think that was probably one of my most favorite that I've seen us do, here. So
it's a big show.
yeah,
It
it
is.
was,
It- it
gorgeous.
is a
It was
big
so
one.
good. So good.
And obviously, Phantom is very special to us as well, which is why we wanted to open up with it. So moving right along, keeping with the theme, give us a show that we have not produced yet, whether it be at the open air or here at MMT, that you would like to see us produce.
I feel like I have to think about that one.
Yeah. I mean, we've done so many.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see Little Shop of Horrors. I would like to see it. I know that was one that we had talked about, but I
It
don't
was in the
think
Fish
it ever.
Bowls
Yeah, it was
last
in the
2
Fish
years
Bowls.
ago.
It's quirky and cute and weird, and I enjoy that show. I can't think of anything else really that.
Okay, I did just
Do
think
you?
of one.
Yeah.
I would really love to do Beauty and the Beast.
Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah, that would be fun.
And I'd also really love to do Heathers and like actually do it because we
Sure.
mostly got rained out
We
when we
did.
tried
Yes.
to.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
so
poor cast of
For
Heathers.
anyone at home watching, we haven't done an alumni show since the
Not
park,
since
right?
we moved in. Really.
So we used to do our studio youth performers would grow up and go to college and graduate college and would be home usually for the summer months. So I would get them all together and figure out a show that we could do with that specific group. So we did Heathers. It was our last year.
I think it was the last one.
It was 2017. No, that was Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, yeah.
So it was
yeah.
this. It was.
It was supposed to be the last one.
It was supposed to be
and
the
then
last one.
we
Yeah,
ended up doing another
2016. We
year.
did Heathers the musical. Again, small cast, about high school students, and we usually only allotted one weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for those performances, and it usually bit us in the behind because the weather at the park, it would rain out, or it would be humid, or thunderstorm, or monsoon, torrential downpour. And I remember that cast got one performance in, I think one canceled. Is that true? The final performance, there was chance of rain that night. Then it was looking very rainy, and we came to the cast and said, "Oh, what do you want to do?" And there were people that said family members were driving in just to see them, and they did the entire performance in the pouring rain.
We all held umbrellas.
I mean, like it wasn't just like a chance of rain that night. It was, I mean, for real umbrellas. We said, wear your costumes. Don't wear galoshes. Just
Yeah.
be safe. Don't do any of the choreography. Like, throw everything out the window just so you can get a chance to do this.
Yeah.
So yes, I completely understand
Yes.
the wanting to do that show again.
and agree,
Yes.
it deserves another go
Yeah.
around.
And I do think it would be fun to do it with like the adult company.
Yeah.
Well, with
Yeah, absolutely.
and with the lights
And with everything else.
Yeah.
Yes.
the park had its
The effects
limitations.
would be
Yeah.
a good addition. But definitely Beauty and the Beast.
But definitely
Yeah,
be the best.
I agree
But
with
also
you on that
Heathers.
one. I like that one. I like that one.
So we've mentioned a bunch of roles that you've both played, and again, Lucy, you are the Tracy. You'll always be the Tracy. You
No
might
matter
be
how old I am.
you might be a 50-year-old Tracy one day.
But I think I still look pretty young for being as old as
Absolutely.
I am.
And again, you won the award for that, and Eric, you won an award for Hans in the
Franz.
Franz, Hans, whatever, in the producers. And you were a terrific Emil, and you've both done a ton of work for us, and it's always top notch. So I'm sure the audience is as grateful as we are. But I did want to mention, because both of you have been a part of it for a very long time, that you're both a very integral part of our Christmas Carol. We've talked probably the most about this show with all of these interviews, but it's the one that we've done the most. And Lucy, I think you're a tenor, right?
I am. I've done every
years.
single year.
And Eric, you're like a niner, if I'm not mistaken.
Missed it by 1 year.
He went on a cruise or
Was it
something
cruise?
one year.
No.
Was it just Florida?
I had to go to Florida to see my in-laws. I was so mad.
Just
so
another
mad
reason.
that I had to go see my in-laws.
Well, you got to
Yeah.
keep the family happy. We get
Well,
that.
do you really?
But why don't you, just share a Christmas Carol anecdote of any color you so wish, because there's lots of memories.
Oh, Lord.
I have so many, but I'm going to start with this one. The first year that we did Christmas Carol, we were actually at the second studio in Lambertville that was the karate studio.
Yep.
And I had brought my laptop home to do my midterms and such while we were rehearsing, because I was driving back and forth to Madison for rehearsals. And I remember I was like so scatterbrained. I left my computer bag somewhere, and I didn't know where. And I was in rehearsal, and I didn't even notice until I finished whatever I was doing, and I sat down to do my schoolwork, and I freaked out, and I couldn't find my computer. And I searched the entire studio. I searched my car, I searched everywhere, and I was totally freaking out because all of my midterms and finals and everything were saved on my computer. And I finally went to Jordan, and I said, Jordan, I can't find my computer anywhere. And he started to help me look for it everywhere. So it turns out I had left it outside of my car, by the wheel of my car,
Oh my gosh.
outside, and then had gone in for rehearsal for 2 hours, and then it was gone. So I was totally freaking out. But the reason I found out it was there was because Jordan and I walked into the restaurant that was that Indian restaurant right there. And we asked if anybody had seen it. And luckily somebody that had worked there saw it and brought it in.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
And I had my laptop. So that's my, I guess I
Crazy-
think that was my first year
Crazy
doing
first
Christmas
year
carols.
story, yeah.
But then a fun anecdote. So every year in Fezziwigs, I am one of the background couples, and I spend most of the Fezziwig ball, and the audience probably doesn't know this or realize, but the cast knows. I spend the entire ball spreading rumors about the main character Emily at that moment, because she's in love with Scrooge. So every show it changes. One time she was a witch, and I wanted everybody to burn her at the stake. Another time I told everybody that she was pregnant with another man's child. So I spread rumors the whole time, and then during the slow motion part where they're super in love, I'm super drunk, so I'm puking everywhere in slow motion. And all the teens that are backstage that are wishing one day they'll be in Fezziwig
Right.
are watching me puke all over everybody, imaginary puke in slow motion. And they get a kick out of it.
It's good times, man. There's a lot going on in the
There
background.
is.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny.
Eric.
Oh, mine's not nearly as funny.
You
I
didn't
just
lose your computer
no, no,
in
no.
an Indian restaurant?
No, I've never had that. I've never had that experience. I think my favorite part of Christmas Carol is the fact that I've had so many children that have come through over the last 10 years, and now they're adults and they're still doing wonderful. I mean, Olivia and I mean all these wonderfully talented children, and it's just such a amazing thing to have them, kind of be mine for that
Sure.
5 seconds,
Smythe
Like,
for
my
life.
kids, that's right.
Smythe for life.
That's right.
Jordan and I have gone through quite a few children as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lucy and I are
True,
married in a
absolutely,
Christmas
yeah.
Carol, 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
And
I think we're the only couple that has survived all 10 years.
Yeah, I've had a different
think so.
wife almost every time.
yeah,
so.
Lewis always has a different wife.
Your wife's
My
dead.
wife dies
Mrs.
all the
Smythe,
time.
Mrs. Smythe that doesn't live in the show. I think you're right. Out of the couples,
Yeah.
hoot hoot.
I do like the first couple years that we did it though. I was always paired up with Sharon during Fezziwigs. I mean,
Uh-huh.
Fezziwigs is always the fun. It's kind
Yeah.
of the everybody
It's a big
has
one.
a blast in that. But I just remember her just I was apologizing, kind of stepping on her feet. I'm not really a dancer, so she's kind of like dragging me around, telling me where I need to be, and I'm always just apologizing. I'm so sorry, Sharon. I think the second year I actually stepped on her dress and ripped it. So,
At
It
least you
happens.
apologize. Normally Gary just laughs
oh
at me.
gosh,
Gary.
there's a lot of that. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing those. A Christmas Carol is a big part of who we are here. So this last question in this segment is, again, it's an answer that's different for everyone, but you're not paid to be here and perform, and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of time, and it's a lot of effort. So what is it for you personally that brings you to again and again give so freely of your time and talent? What do you get from performing that makes it worthwhile?
So I think for me, going back to how I was saying I was a triple major in college, I triple majored in education, history, and theater with concentration in acting. So those are really my three loves in life, is learning, teaching, and theater. So once I got out of college, I did want to take the track of performing professionally and getting paid for that and living this fabulous life, But I think I found along the way that I felt more rewarded for helping others in the teaching aspect of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt very rewarded for myself by doing the theater things.
Mhm.
So I think I made that change for myself, where theater is for me,
Right.
and teaching is for everybody else.
Mhm.
So for me, I get a lot out of it because it's my place where I can kind of express myself, and I can, like what you were saying before, a lot of people don't express everything every
Sure.
day, all the time. I can do that on the stage.
Right.
And I know that I'm not the best at everything else in life, but I feel pretty good when I'm on the stage.
That's great.
I feel pretty confident, and I know what I'm doing. So it's always been that one place where I feel the most comfortable, because I
Mhm.
feel I got this.
Yeah.
Whereas in other aspects of life, especially now with
Well, yeah.
coronavirus
Yeah.
and teaching,
It's
you never
unpredictable.
know.
Yeah.
So it's just always kind of been my place of comfort, I guess, where I always have kind of felt that I could come out of my shell and say and do and,
Right.
Be
strange,
safe.
weird things and
Yeah.
be safe.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel I like to please people.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't know that, but I like to make people happy. That's always been my make people feel, and I think that's the one great thing about coming here, is that every time people come in this building, or virtually into this building, we're making them feel something, and I think that's and you go out, and we used to talk to people out in the lobby, and you'd get, oh my God, that just touched me so much. And it's that connection that I just love to hear, how what is going on up here has such a just visceral impact on people. They're just like the arts, it really is. It's like we talk about the arts and music, how music impacts people, and you feel a certain way, and it really is just incredible. And that's what it is for me. I just love to make people feel something.
Yeah, and I think that it's kind of a common theme throughout the answer for most people is having that connection with the audience and storytelling and feeling safe and secure to maybe go out and try something that maybe in your real life you wouldn't do. You'd be a little apprehensive to kind of put yourself on the line. And I think that that's such a strong statement and such a strong argument why, as a teacher, we want to expose kids to theater, because there are so many life lessons and so many life skills that you obtain through working on theater. And I just think it's so important. And obviously, it is very sorely missed at the moment, live theater. And, we're doing our best that we can to kind of keep the live theater going, but it's very difficult, in this time. And I think that once everything calms down with coronavirus and we're all vaccinated and healthy and we can all be together again, what a wonderful time it will be for all of us, audience and performers alike, because we know you miss it just as much as we miss doing it for you. So now we're going to move on to the final phase of this, which is our kind of honorary questions for Inside the Actor Studio. So we're just going to ask you some questions, and we just want you to answer the first thing that comes into your head.
Mm.
Lucy, you can go first for
Okay.
each question. What is your favorite musical?
Legally Blonde just popped into my head, but it's not my favorite.
You must have been reading my mind because I was thinking that earlier.
Were you?
It was weird. I don't know why.
No, in reality, it would probably be between like Phantom of the Opera and probably like Beauty and the Beast or Little Mermaid.
Okay. Little Mermaid, yeah. Eric?
Me?
Yeah.
Actually, wait, can I take that back?
Yes.
Sure, please do.
No, I lied. My favorite, I just remembered. My favorite is really, I love Showboat and I love The King and I. I forgot
Okay.
to mention those.
Two
I always like think immediately of like contemporary
Sure.
things, and
Sure.
I forget about like past things.
Yeah,
yeah,
classics.
classics. They've been around, man.
All right, you guys are gonna hurt me. Annie is actually my favorite show.
Is it really?
It is. But here's the
I'm not
reason
gonna hurt
why.
you.
And here's the reason why. It's not like the best show ever. It's not the best music, whatever. When it was the first musical I ever went to as a kid.
Well, it's very special
So
for you then.
it has a very special
Yeah.
place in my heart, because it was family and going to see things like that was
Sure.
always.
That's awesome.
It was my first real experience with live theater. It was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I was a little kid.
All right. What is your least favorite musical?
I really don't like Annie. But also because I have a sore spot because I never got to play Annie.
Sure, sure.
And now I'm too old.
That's funny.
But I also, I don't know. It's hard to say because one of the other things that I do, one of my many extracurricular activities, is I'm an evaluator for the Rising Stars for Paper Mill Playhouse.
Mhm.
So I see a lot of productions a year,
Yeah.
some good and some bad. And I can say that there are some shows that I have seen that I go into and I'm like, oh God, I can't stand the show. And then I see it and I'm like, wow, this was amazing and now I want to do it again.
Mm.
Like, no offense, but I'm not a big Jesus Christ Superstar fan.
None taken.
But then I saw like a really amazing production of it,
Uh-huh.
so then I like really liked it again. So I just feel like I don't know, like I go in and out of phases with things that I don't
Sure.
like. Like right now, I really don't like Sister Act, and I didn't like. I saw Disaster on Broadway. I
Okay.
did not like that, and I guess that's it that I can think of right now.
That's okay.
That's good.
Yeah, but I go in and out of phases.
Yeah,
of
I get
things.
that.
I'm with you on Jesus Christ Superstar.
Rent. I also don't like Rent.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't mind Rent. I don't mind Rent.
I,
If it-
I used to like it when it came out, and now I
Yeah.
feel like I'm so over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That was Jesus Christ Superstar was another one. My folks had the album.
Sure.
We
Mhm.
listened to it when I
Yep.
was a kid, and I'm like, I like the music. I just don't like the show.
Yeah.
I just don't like
And
it. I don't know
Company.
why.
I just remembered Company. I do not like. I did that show once at Town and Country, and it was
Lucy's
an awful.
You're
ongoing
only
list.
allowed one, Lucy.
I just had a bad experience, I guess. I'm sorry. I just keep thinking of them.
We'll rank them and put them on a piece of paper. We'll talk about it later.
All right, so moving along, this is really doesn't have to be theatrically related. What sound or noise do you love?
The ocean.
Cats purring. It's so soothing and
Yeah.
comforting. It's almost like the ocean, but it's
Yeah.
yeah.
What sound or noise do you hate?
I really hate like really loud, high pitched noises that are like not like sung notes. I guess I could say.
yeah.
Like my husband drives me crazy because he like whistles like all the time, and it's like so high pitched, and it drives me crazy like when we're on the phone and he'll start whistling and it comes through even louder and like more like piercing through the phone. But it's not just like whistling; it's like anything that's just like nails on a chalkboard.
High-pitched,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound weird, but when you have a vegetable that's kind of squeaky,
It does not sound.
Is
We've
that
had
weird?
this discussion.
That's the weirdest thing. It
I
like
have
makes
to-
me crazy.
I have to cook our green beans.
Yeah,
Be-
especially green beans.
Because when Lewis cooks them,
Uh-huh.
they're squeaky.
Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
mind squeaky green
Right?
beans.
And I can't chew them.
See, there we go.
So I
That's
don't
it.
find that weird at
That's
all.
probably the thing that bothers me the most, the sound that yeah. 'Cause you can hear
Alright.
it internally. You can't hear it
Or like
externally.
silverware scraping plates.
Yeah.
That
That
kind of
bothers
stuff
me.
is, yeah, not as bad
I
as the
feel like
green
that's
beans.
a normal thing that everybody's
It
like.
is.
Yeah,
"Ugh."
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, some people are okay with it. All right, next question is, what is your favorite word?
Syzygy.
Ah, good
Oh.
one.
Interesting.
Miss Peretti.
Can you spell that, please?
Yes, you can.
No.
That was also one of my favorite roles. I should
Yeah.
mention.
That's great.
It's another one I can connect to as a teacher.
Mhm.
Favorite- you know what? It's weird. Shazam just popped into my head. I
That's
don't know
fine.
why.
It's a fun word.
Shazam!
That's a fun word.
So then, contrast, what's your least favorite word?
Probably curse words.
Okay.
I'm not a big curse word person. I don't really curse unless I'm really, 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 really angry.
Okay.
And even then, it's like to myself.
No. No. I hate no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Don't tell me no.
That's
I'm going
Um,
to do the opposite.
Yeah. Well, Lucy, you're not going to like this next one, but what is your favorite curse word? You can feel free to say it because we're going to bleep you out anyway.
Well, then nobody's going to know.
I mean, I guess, honestly, the only one that I really ever use, I guess, is fing.
But to yourself.
But to
you
myself.
like whisper it.
I really like, yeah, I'm like.
That's a curse
I
word? I
really
thought that
don't
was a
ever
normal
say it.
word.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't really say any other ones.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's kind of my
I think
favorite
it's because I'm around
too.
kids all the time, so I've
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
conditioned myself to say
Sure.
other
We have to like
things.
change
like
the words with
fudge,
kids. Yeah.
Or
Right.
like, oh, stripes, or like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
That's so awful.
oh, sugar.
Oh, you silly
Sugar.
goose.
Yes, that's what I say
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, me on the other hand, I'm walking down the street. So-
I have to have a discussion with my 7th grade homeroom full of boys every day about using kind words and nice words.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Oh gosh.
All
Sorry
right,
about it.
so this next one is, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
You know, strangely enough, I've actually always wanted to be like, I've always wanted to write a book. And it's still on my like bucket list.
Yeah.
At some point, I'd love to write a book. So
Any
I guess
kind of book? Or do you have a
Well,
book in mind?
I have like a couple different things in mind. I would love to do like a children's book. I always wanted to write one about my dog, like
Uh-huh.
going on different adventures with my dog for like children's book. And then, not that I think anybody would really care about my life, but I feel like there's certain things that have happened in my life that are like you just cannot make them up.
Sure.
So I've always
be
wanted to
surprised.
write like a novel, like kind of based on like what I've gone through in my life.
Yeah,
Yeah, memoirs, man.
Yeah.
Do it.
I know. And I mean, you can self-publish nowadays. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
take much. I mean, really, you could just put anything out there.
I've also contemplated being a wedding planner at certain points until I got engaged, and then I don't want to do it anymore. And I really don't want to do it anymore after the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Especially. Eric?
Oh, I've done so many different things.
Yeah, Eric really is like
know.
a jack of all trades. He built half of this building.
I helped. You know, arts. I really have always, you know, kind of been drawn to artistic things. I always thought it would be fun to be a painter, but everything I do, like painting, always comes out wrong. So I'm like, I'd have to get somebody to teach me how to do it.
Well,
you know?
sure, you
It never
know.
comes out the right way. So I think being a painter would be fun.
So side note question before we move on.
Yeah.
Eric, you have a long resume of different weird jobs that
Yeah.
you've had.
Yeah.
Can you rattle some of them off for us?
I dug ditches. I worked in the law enforcement field a couple different times. I worked I worked in a psychiatric industry or a psychiatric hospital for a number of years. I worked at McDonald's. I've worked at, you know, done all those things. I did construction. Hills. I worked at Hills. Oh my gosh.
Cabinetry?
I have done.
Custom-
Yes,
custom cabinets?
I've done amazing, cabinetry work before.
So then the next question is for both of you. Lucy, you can start. Is what is a job that you would never want to do, never want to have?
I guess anything that's like kind of like dirty or like with my hands. Like I'm just not good at like, I don't know, like like even like gardening. Like I just don't really like it.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with cleaning. Like I'll clean the house and I'll do like the laundry and I'll clean the dishes. But I just
But
don't.
not for a job.
I'm not. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, get your hands
Yeah.
dirty.
Yeah, like my dad owns an auto body shop, and like he gets his hands dirty like all day long, like
Yeah.
fixing things, and I just would never want
Yeah.
anything to do. I don't know. Not
Eric?
into it.
I don't blame you.
I'd never want to go back to digging ditches in Florida in
Alright.
120-degree
That's
heat.
something I wouldn't want to do.
Never, ever, ever, ever. It gives you perspective. Things you never want to do
Right.
again.
Sure.
That one. Yeah.
And then the last question is, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I don't know. Do you know? Welcome.
That's a
What?
good thing.
Yeah, I just want him to say, hey, you weren't so bad. I guess you can come in. You're pretty bad. Just good enough.
The pool's over there.
Right.
Yeah, that's a nice
The
one.
beach is over there.
We're grading on a curve.
That's awesome. All right, cool.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
both. That's
Lucy
the
and
end of the
Eric,
questions.
for
Yeah,
being a
it's a
part of
blast.
this today and for being a part of what we do here.
Thank you.
We want to thank you at home for watching. Please tune in again for the next episode of Spotlight on Stage.
Thanks, guys. That's it.